Alright, hello everyone. I'm coming to you live again from the Motel 6 in Mojave, California. And let me tell you, people say it's hot here. They're telling you the truth. It's very hot out here. I walked around this morning to get breakfast. I came back and decided I was going to hang out in here and stay in the shade until the sun goes down and gets a little bit cooler to go out and do some rest of my 0 day stuff. But what we're going to talk about today is Section E update. It's about 112 miles. It goes from Agua Dulce, California, all the way to the spot on the trail where you either go to Tecate, California, or Mojave, California, which is where I wound up going. So we'll start with day 25. That was my 0 day at Agua Dulce at Hiker Heaven. It was really nice. They have 3 or 4 restaurants in town that Hiker Heaven gives you a shuttle to. Ma's restaurant's a really good breakfast restaurant, and they have Sweetwater restaurant. It's got some good burgers and stuff, and got all resupplied up at Agua Dulce and got ready to head out. Day 26, I got up again. I ate at that same breakfast restaurant in Agua Dulce. I think it's called Ma's. They have like a super breakfast platter. It's really good. And the neat thing about this section of the trail is you can do a little bit of trail angel hopping here early on. And what I did was I went from Hiker Heaven and I went a little bit over 20 miles, and the bad news is the bugs were really bad for me, the little gnats, not the mosquitoes, but they were all in your face, and they were just getting everywhere because it's kind of like a little forested area as we're going toward the next stop, which was Green Valley for me. And Green Valley is a really nice place, and the reason it's a nice place is because you can get a ride. It's about 2 miles, but everyone in town was giving hikers rides. What happened to me was I was with a friend and he was talking about getting a cab, and I said, that sounds dumb, let's just try to get a ride. And we were wandering around in a parking lot looking for a water spigot, and a guy pulled in and asked if we wanted a ride to the Trail Angels house, which is Casa de Luna. It's the Andersons, and these people have been helping hikers, I think they said, for 12 or 13 years. One time they had 80 people there one night. Well, what you get at Casa de Luna is, number one, they let you camp in their backyard, which is a giant forest full of trees I'd never seen called manzanita trees. Yeah, and you can look on my Instagram to see my hammock spot. There are 30 or 40 campsites just back in their yard. And the other great thing that they do for you is they give you dinner, and that dinner is going to be taco salad. And it was probably some of the best taco salad I've ever had. It was a little different than the normal taco salad I had because it didn't have any meat in it, but it was delicious. And the other thing that Casa de Luna is famous for is the class bandana. You may have seen them. They say PCT hiker to trail, PCT hiker to town. And you got to do a little something to get that bandana, but that's kind of a little secret for the trail. So I got my bandana. Everyone else there got their bandana. It wasn't a big deal. And the next morning when you wake up at the Andersons, you get pancakes and coffee. And the record is, when I was there, was 7 pancakes. I ate 6. They're pretty big pancakes, and they make them until you just don't want to eat them anymore. And it was really great. And they gave you a ride back to the trail. And right back to the trail that day on day 27 was a little late. It was about 10:30. And so what I said was I was going to try to get to another campground. I think it's still in the Los Angeles National Forest, and it was one of those mega campgrounds where there's lots of spots. There's a road where you can, basically come in and car camp. And I got done 20 miles by 5 o'clock. Started at 10:30. That was really good. So I found a nice hammock spot. I ate lunch with some of the guys that I had been hiking with, and then I went up to the top of the hill there and got some water out of a very shady cistern, which is basically a man-made container that they put in the ground to collect rainwater. Everyone with me said they were going to treat it with chemicals. I didn't treat mine with chemicals, and I didn't die yet, so I guess it's pretty good water. I'm sure you guys will need to get some water there when you go up there, because it's a really dry stretch of trail. And from Sawmill Campground, you have that water, but there's basically no water in between there. And so where you go to get water next is a place called Hiker Town. And it's, even if you don't stay there, it's a really unique place. At least you're going to have to go in there to get some water. And so at least go in and stop in there. Talk to the people that actually own Hiker Town, and they're really nice. They really want to help hikers out. You go in there and they have a lot of little, it's like a mini Wild West town where they have little, cots for hikers to sleep for a minimal donation. I think it's like $10 a night, or you can pay $5 to camp. And it's really nice there. They have showers, laundry, and they also have a shuttle to the store that the people that also own Hiker Town own the store. It's called the Niach Cafe. I was actually disappointed because I got there on Sunday and I went to the store at like 4:30 and the cafe was closed, so I didn't get any cafe food. But went up getting a frozen pizza and it was pretty good, and stayed at Hikertown. And so the next day we were on day 29, and that is the day that I knew I was going to have to go and hike the aqueduct. And so what I did on Hikertown was I got up at about 4 o'clock in the morning and headed out in the fields beside Hikertown, going down to where the aqueduct is really early before the sun came up. It was a really cool experience. I saw like 10 or 15 little field mice just running around, and then once as the sun started to come up, I saw a lot of rabbits, and it was really nice. The aqueduct wasn't that hot because we got lucky and it was a windy day. And once you start that, the place where you kind of want to get to, I think it's called Cottonwood Creek Bridge. It's a bridge where there's no water under there, but you can get in there and hide from the shade. I think it's like 17 miles from Hikertown, and that's what I did. I ate lunch under there. There's also a water cache that Hikertown sometimes maintains there. It's a big blue barrel, and you can get some water before you go back into the actual canyon area outside of the wind farms. You're walking through wind farms a lot on the aqueduct section. They may as well just call it the wind farm section, because that's a lot of what you're going to see. The trails running through the wind farms property. They just have, I guess, easement on their property, so you can walk on there and you get to see all the different types of wind turbines. It's pretty nice. And there I went to Tyler Horse Canyon campsite, which is pretty much the first water source as you're going through the aqueduct section. It didn't have a lot of water in there when I was there. It had enough to fill up your water, but it was a really, really small stream. That night was super windy. I think the canyon was creating kind of like a wind tunnel down to where the wind turbines were. Didn't get much sleep, but the next day I got up and my plan was to go almost to where you could get off to go to Mojave and then camp. But after a bad night's sleep, I just wanted to get in, and so I went to the trailhead at 558. It's at Cameron Road and Tecopy Willow Springs Road. And according to Guthooks, you can hitch into Mojave from Boulder Oak Road, I think is the name of the road. But let me tell you guys, if you want to get into Mojave, do not try to hitch in there. I spent an hour and 15 minutes on that road, and the only trucks that I saw were people that worked for the wind farm. There were water trucks that worked for the wind farm, and the other people weren't even thinking about slowing down. I got 4 rides offered to me to go to Tecopy from that 558. If you want to go to Tecopy, that is the place to go to it from. If you want to go to Mojave, you need to go to Highway 58, 566, because they have a bus that'll come and get you and bring you to Mojave from there. It's like $3. That's really the best option if you want to get off there. I got lucky. There was 2 people that I was hiking with. One of them was a doctor and a chef, and I saw them. They came in like an hour and a half after I'd been trying to get a ride, and decided they were going to get a lift, which is kind of like Uber. I'm sure you guys know about that. And it was kind of an expensive trip. It was like $28, and I tried to give them some money for it, and they wouldn't accept it. So I got a free ride into Mojave, and it was really nice. Got into Mojave, and the reason that I came in here is because I got some new shoes here, which I'm really excited about. My feet were starting to have some weird pains, which I was pretty sure contributed to the shoes not being structurally sound anymore. The bottom one was ripping off. I had holes in the sides, but I'm gonna get some new shoes. And tomorrow I'm gonna be headed out into Section F, and when I get done with that, I'll let you guys know with an update. We're going toward the Sierras and Kennedy Meadows, and my next stop is probably gonna be Lake Isabella.